All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. All right. So I think like before we jump into it, like I said before, um, I probably would say maybe out of 500 people, right? Because we're marketing and we have like a bunch of people that say they're interested. But it's only going to probably be 1% that will, I don't know, take heed to it and actually do it. It's not going to be many, and I expect that. So what I've done also on the website, let me see if I can incognito this, because I know there's only going to be like maybe a 1% or 2% on the become a CPO page. What I'm going to do is have it where, you know, they have two different options here. So you can see right there, become a CPO and then work for GGC. So it clearly shows becoming a CPO, you're looking at $800 per month. It's uncapped potential. And then if you're working for GGC, you're paying $50 a week for 40 hours, paid on Fridays. You know, they just want a job. Majority of the crowd is probably going to go here rather than go here, right? But what I'm going to go through today is kind of what a CPO, you know, training on the portal and all the things that kind of come with it. Okay. So this is a change that I actually made on the page because I kind of know the audience that we're kind of dealing with and giving them the option to go down whatever road they want to go down. Right. Close that. So when you open up the agent portal, and John, what I'm probably going to do is just kind of go through the menu real quick. And then the bulk of it is kind of going through the CPO, right? So I would probably switch the screen to allow you to share on the screen, and we kind of go through the actual task itself. I don't have a meeting until 1. So I know you guys probably take your break still at 12. So we'll stop around that time. Just see how far we can get through it and kind of go from there. All right. So when you come in, there's a dashboard. It's the very first thing on the menu is a dashboard. As an agent, the dashboard for myself is personally what I pay attention to the most, kind of understand what's going on with my business. When you come in here, if you have a team, let's say, for instance, if you have a social media manager, if you have a TC person that's international and you're paying them, this keeps up with your payroll and how much you owe for the week. So as people are filling out their time cards and all that stuff, it's given this dollar amount here, what I kind of know what I'm paying out. So the dashboard is kind of showing me what, you know, money I have going out and money I've made, and giving me the overall picture. Okay. This first one here is closed. So these are the closed deals so far this year. Showing there's 5 deals, and out of those 5 deals, I've made $159,000. This right here shows pending. These are kind of what's still in contract. So there's a sale of a home that's in here. I think this what this one is coming from. It's just like the sale of my house. And this is the net worth of the pipeline itself. I'm sorry, this is the net worth of the pipeline itself. And then if all of this is closed, the total net is here, $1,088,000. So this will be the total. If I can close everything in my pipeline, that's what I can make, right? So as an agent, you know, this for me is motivation to kind of know what I got going on. This one right here, incoming referrals and outgoing referrals, you know, as agents, we're able to refer clients and we're able to receive referrals as well. So we have some outgoing referrals here. And then this one here for the incoming referrals is what we have on this section here. This right here is the total monthly bills. This is like, you know, your chat GPT, all the stuff that you have that's running your business. A big bulk of this is I think I'm paying $9.97 a month for a platform for lead generation. So that's why this one is kind of high, but we'll get into that one here in a second. Down here is the operation dashboard. So this one has shown you how many buyer leads I have in my pipeline, how many of them are active, how many sellers I have in my pipeline, and how many of them are active. And then my outgoing, incoming referrals. And this is saying that I have 13 reminders still pending that I need to take care of. Okay. This here is showing my team efficiency. So this is the people that pretty much like are on my payroll, and it shows the efficiency for each person or where they are. So you can kind of see, 44%, 38%, right? Meaning that there's still tasks that could be pushed to them, because efficiency is kind of showing you based on the hours that they have and how much work they're doing with the hours that they have. So there's still a lot of room here to add tasks. And this gives me, as a person that's looking at them like, well, there's more stuff that I can give these people and watch this efficiency go up. Okay. Down here is just a roll up, upcoming compliance things, the recent activity, and then my reminders and my upcoming appointments. So I have an appointment here at 1 p.m. All right, so this is the overall dashboard that shows me almost everything. Okay. Going into the next one, this is where you input your monthly bills. Now, I think the way that I want to explain this to you is that how you are, let's just say Victory, you're talking to another agent about being their CPO, right? So you're explaining to them, hey, this is where, everything for your dashboard about your business is here in your dashboard. So you're able to show that to them. Then where they input their monthly bills. Okay. So monthly bills, you can see that lead generation, if I were to take that one out, right, it brings my annual down here to 2,200. But since I have it, it brings it up, right? So it allows me also to kind of look at everything that I'm paying for and be like, do I really need this? Do I really need that? Gives me more control. A lot of agents, they make money, but then they don't know where their money is going and why they're still broke. They feel like they're making a lot of money, but not really paying attention to what's going out. So this helps them with that. Then we have the expense tracker. I just added this one. So this also helps you keep up with what you're spending throughout the year. So if you click on add expense, you can help them keep up with their expenses. I'm also going to add John here where they can upload the picture of the receipt. Okay, this also helps with taxes throughout the year. So at the end of the year, when you're done, you'll have a roll up all your expenses. So you're also able to help the agent track their expenses. You're able to help them track their bills, right? These two things for a realtor, it's important for them. Just showing that you're capable of helping them maintain these things is, I guess it's a good sign of them wanting to use you for the service. Okay. And as we go through a lot of these things, there's going to be like, I need that. I need that. I need that. I need that too. Right. So just keep adding on the value that you're able to bring to a realtor. So this is why I was saying, guys, like learning how to be a CPO for an agent and you have one client, it's a game changer for you, but you just got to understand the portal itself and how it works so you can help maintain their business. Okay. So we have the expense tracker. And then once these expenses are in here, you can export a CSV, which is good for agent to give to their, what do you call it? To their finance person, whoever doing their taxes, right? They'll be able to give them this for all their expenses, and that's where that will go. Okay. Then you have here the buyer pipeline. What I did is I put my name in here for a reason, because if I don't, then I'm showing all my clients' information and I don't want to do that. So I have myself here. So I'm going to move me back to the first stage so you guys can kind of see what it would look like. So I'm gonna go back and reach out to client. Okay. When you're putting so this is the buyer pipeline, right? If I were to add a buyer to this, I would put their name, phone number, email, address, and all that information. and it will populate like this. So just pretend that I'm the first buyer in this buyer pipeline, right? You add that person, and everything that you see from this point to the end here is every step they have to go through closing. Okay. So it's all mapped out, right? And you're going to be helping them to move this lead forward. Then we also have post-closing things, right? After they close, we have setting them up for anniversaries on the day they bought their home. So every year you can send out a message to them, their home anniversary. Then we have another campaign for holidays. Then we have here sending a request for review. All right. And then we have the review was completed. So they will end up here knowing that you did all these steps, even after post-closing, to make sure that we stay in contact with that lead. So inside the card, okay, there's a lot of information inside of each one of these, right? So this is just the basic details. And let me see if I can explain this better. This is the details of the client. And let's just say they were here in the reaching out stage, right? So they're still a prospect. They're not actually a client yet. So I came in here as a new buyer, came through, let's just say I came through Lofty, or if I came through a Facebook ad or something that I was interested in buying a house, I'm in this first stage, okay? The second step that we want to do here is set up property alerts. So we move them here, set up the property alerts, right? That's done. They kind of stay in this stage until they're actively viewing properties or we have some kind of conversation with them, okay? So inside the card, as we're calling, reaching out to them, we're just logging kind of what happened on that call. Like I called, nobody answered. I called, somebody answered. I was able to book an appointment for the agent. We try to keep the calls basic, right? So if you base the calls based on the next stage, so let's just say for here, right? Reaching out to clients, and let's say the lead that came through, there's not enough information to even set up property alerts. That call that you make is just asking them information about what they're looking for. You establish a connection with them just on that and just keep it that basic, okay? Then you have that information. If you already have that information for property alerts, the next call you can make is just saying, hey, we're sending you properties right now. We just want to make sure that the criteria that you're getting and the property you're getting is exactly what you want. Do you want me to make any changes? So we're not having conversation with them right away, just saying, hey, you know, work with Ray Dockery. He's the best realtor in the business. We're not doing that. We're trying to add value. We're trying to help them. And we're establishing a connection that way, okay? So property alerts are set, right? And now we're watching Lofty, right? Our CRM on all the activity of all the leads that we have. And as they start viewing properties on Lofty, again, we log a call. Hey, I see that you looked at 123 Main Street. Is there any other information you need for it? So you can see that all our calls is all about adding value. It's not really about trying to get them to work with a realtor right away, because that kind of turns people off, right? You keep calling them, say, hey, you know, you need to talk to Ray Docker. Can I book a call? Can I book a call, right? We just allow all the things that's going on around them to just keep kind of nurturing them. And then eventually we'll get to the point where they want to book an appointment. So if they're at this stage and we see that they're viewing properties, then we'll move them here, right? You'll have a bunch of people in property alerts, right? That's running in Lofty or Bold Trails or KV Core or Follow Up Boss, whatever CRM they're using, property alerts are being sent to them. It doesn't necessarily mean they open them, right? So they don't open all of the property alerts. So you'll have 30 people here and you have 4 people that's actively looking at the properties that's being sent, and that's when you move them here. These people need to be separated, right? So then once you have these people in this stage here, this is the opportunity where we go a little harder, okay? They're viewing properties, and now it's like going back to the call log, okay, right here. When we reach out to them, these people that are viewing properties, we want to be like, when people are looking at houses on the internet, they don't see all the information that we see as agents. So we're able to get them the seller disclosure, and the seller disclosure has like what's really wrong with the property, what's included in the property, and all these things. So the public doesn't have access to that, and we can offer that to that person. Reaching out to them and say, hey, I see that you're viewing this property and this property. Would you like the seller disclosure on that property, right? Again, adding value, establishing a relationship. Sure, can you send that over to me? So we'll have that, hold on. Yeah, we'll be able to establish that because we got them to reply, okay? Once you have them here and they're viewing, we can see that. But just because we reach out to them, call them, text them, and all that, that doesn't mean that they actually reply to you. A lot of them don't reply. But the ones that do, we want to put them here, have some type of conversation, okay? So we're moving these people along the way, just keep inching and having them bite on little things to get them to actually reply, answer the call, have a conversation with you. If you have that first conversation when you call them and say they're here, right? Say they're at this stage, and you was able to call them and talk to them about the property alerts. Once that happens, we can move them here because you already established that kind of connection. Like you was able to talk to that person, right? Property alerts was set, viewing the properties. At this point, we can skip over it because we have established a connection as far as talking to them. We only move these people when we have a text message back, they talk to you on the phone, anything like a conversation, we want to move them here, okay? And we'll keep them here until we get to a point where either they book appointment to talk to me, or it can bypass all of this, right? We might have somebody who we're having conversations with, and all of a sudden they see a property, they say they want to see that house, right? Because that's what's going to come next. They want to see the home. So once we have that, they're going to go here to representation agreement, because I can't show a house without actually having them sign paperwork. So things won't always be in line, far as like you do this step and then this step happens. Like this is just helping us move those leads along. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to always happen that way. We might go from here all the way to here because they already have a pre-approval. Okay. So let me go inside. So the intake form, this step here, the reason why this one is here, because if I have an appointment with them, I'm going to fill the intake form out during the call. So this is just more information about the client that I can actually get, right? Some of you may get lucky on the call where they're very talkative and they're giving you more information than you need. If that's the case, you can also go here to intake form, okay, and fill out some of this information. But this is like of a more an advanced thing. If you start get comfortable with that, you can help the realtor fill these things out too, right? But I expect the realtor to actually be the one that's having the conversation with them and asking them a lot of these personal questions, rather than you as a CPO. Okay, some of you might be getting to get some of this information because it's happened before. So that's what that's for. All right. So inside each client, we'll go through some of these things that are in here. Just want to make sure I don't get ahead of myself. So intake form is done. I want to get a representation agreement signed by them because I can't show them houses without it. Okay. All right, so that's the intake form. I will fill this out. This right here, when it says money, this comes in play when they found the house that they want, and we are actually putting an offer in the house. So I understand what the sell price is. I understand what the commission is going to be, or if it's a flat dollar amount. If the referral came from another agent, I'm able to put all that information in here. Okay. And then it gives you the net. So give you an example is if this is a $314,000 home, we're doing a percentage commission is going to be, it's normally what, like 2.5 or 3%. So let's just say it's 3%. Okay. And then you have, I had a referral person. The referral person was John Clark, right? John Clark is charging me 25%. You can see how this money changes. Now it's my net is only 7,000, right? So that's what this section is for, to be able to input that data when it comes to the money of the actual deal, right? But that doesn't come in until kind of later in this probably make an offer step, and the offer was accepted, where you have all this information. So you won't have this information up front, okay? But inside of each card, all of this data is in here for this person, right? All right, so we have the intake form. We have the roadmap. The roadmap actually checks off itself as you're moving the leads through the process. So you can already see here on the roadmap, it shows representation agreement is checked off. And then if I were to move it to the next step, it would check this one off. So this is just the client roadmap. It's just doing it automatically. This one here is a TC checklist. So as a CPO, it's not really your job to be the transaction coordinator. But guys, if you learn how to be a transaction coordinator, that dollar amount that I said, like if you're charging $5 an hour and you're making $200 a week, $800 a month, if you can learn how to be a TC as well, you can charge more, right? Normally, realtors have their own TC and they're paying anywhere from, I don't know, $400 to $600 per closing for the TC work. So if you added another couple dollars an hour, just said, hey, basically, you know, if you have any TC stuff, I'll take care of that as well. And that's why, like right now, you have John has the TC company, okay? Then you have Victory that's doing the social media, and we'll talk about that in a second, because even from the social media side, you can charge more, right? Being a CPO is just the basics of keeping their business organized and keeping everybody that is a player and on their team, keeping them in check, okay? Keeping them organized and making sure that you're the person watching over everything. That's the CPO's job. The CPO's job is not to make social media stuff, you know, posting, looking on their social media. It has nothing to do with any of that. So make sure that if you're going after a realtor and you talk about a CPO, you're talking about the software and everything that you're able to keep organized, okay? CPO is the manager of the organization of their business and keeping everything aligned. And that's how you upcharge for everything else, right? Victory, if you learn how to be a CPO, right, you're also able to say, hey, you know, we can also do 3 posts per week for social media. You know, a fee right now is the fee right now is, you know, $5 an hour. But if I do social media posting for you daily, and maybe you can add something like doing stuff for groups, or I don't know, whatever you want to do for social media, you add an additional fee to that hourly to bump everything up. If you do in social media and then you're also doing what do you call this, TC stuff, right, you're able to add more, right? So internally right now, let's just say Victory, you had a client, you're also able to get with John, right? John has a TC company, is like, hey, I'm going to have this client coming on, there's some TC stuff. If something comes up, I need you to jump in and help me. You guys work out a deal, whatever that deal may be. So he's able to come in and help with the TC stuff, or you can learn to be a transaction coordinator yourself and do everything, okay? Right now, John is able to come in and do a CPO's job and he can do transaction coordinator, right? So he can charge, but he's not a social media person. He would have to gain a social media skill and then say, yeah, I can do all of it. But internally as a team that you guys are here, you guys can talk each other to each other and still be able to give that whole package to a realtor. Is everybody tracking so far what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you have the TC checklist, and these are all the things that I have to, that this client, which is me, that the TC has to keep up with all these things. They have to check these things off. They have to do all this work, right? So you as a CPO, if the client is in this stage as a representation agreement, okay, the TC checklist, you have the buyer agency agreement, okay, the consumer information statement. So pretty much for me personally, if somebody has a representation agreement signed by me, they're going to, inside that package and all the documents I have to sign, they're going to be doing almost all of these, okay? They're going to be doing this one, this one. John, did we open the TC file at this step or not yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we
I
open
on
the file.
contract.
Not yet, right?
No, sir.
Okay. So representation agreement would be a buyer agency agreement, the warrant, the wire fraud warning, the consumer information statement. Am I missing anything here?
No, sir. I'm on the first step, like on the pre-contract. That is when we like send over the buyer agreement, sir. So we like create already the loop on that loop.
Oh, so you already created. Okay, so
Yes,
it is created. All right.
yes,
So pretty much all of these are pretty much done.
yes, sir.
Got you. At the time, though, we probably don't have a pre-approval letter yet. But if they have one, that's great. We know that it's still due if they're moving along the process, right? So
Yes, sir.
these are the things, like these little things, guys, as a CPO, you just need to understand that they were done, right? Getting with the actual TC and having them either do this or you're doing it, okay? The good thing about this is that you can add the transaction coordinator to the agent portal, okay? So you already see, like, you know, John is a CPO. John is also the transaction coordinator, right? So if I were to add the TC here, they can log in and you just kind of tell them, hey, on the buyer pipeline, I need you to go to raise card and update the TC checklist of everything that you've done so far, okay? And that way you can keep the TC in line with every client that is past this step, right? So everybody over here, they're still in the prospecting kind of thing. Once they get to this point and they sign these contracts, guys, that's when the TC actually steps in, okay? You just have to make sure that everything is aligned as far as what the TC needs to do and it's checked off in here. So you are overwatching the realtor's business overall and making sure these things are done, okay? This one right here is the reminders, okay? So let's say for Ray, we need to make sure that, let me give a good example. Maybe we need to reach out to him and ask him about the pre-approval. You can add a reminder here. You can sign it to yourself, okay? And then set the reminder date and put the reminders here, okay? So that's what that does. This here is like for any notes that you want to add. Maybe there's some kind of note you want to put in for this client. This right here is compliance. Again, compliance belongs to the TC. When documents are filled out, right, and we're into a stage of these compliance dates only come in when we reach this step here, okay? These two steps. That's kind of where the compliance dates come from. The compliance dates come from the contract of them putting in an offer on a home. It's accepted, and on that offer it shows all of these dates, right? The date that it was executed, the buyer's representation expiration right? When the money, the EMD is due, home inspection is due, termite inspection is due, radon inspection is due. All these dates right here has to be put in, okay, by the TC. Okay, so it probably will be best as the CPO is to kind of push to have the what is this? To have the transaction coordinator added. That way, can you log in? Can you update the compliance dates? Right. There's another way you can do it as well. We're going to talk about that in a second, but that would be the way I would try to push to do that. More than likely, their transaction coordinator is another person in the United States. So I don't know, they might feel some type of way you barking orders at them. But if you're the realtor CPO, the realtor also should be helping you push on the transaction coordinator to do that. This would also be because maybe you're having a hard time getting the TC to give you the updates, and also the realtor is having a hard time to know where their client is in the process, what TC things are still open, what's been done. It gives us a huge leg up when we say, hey, we have an internal transaction coordinator company that I don't need to go through this with your person. We have an internal person that will help me. They know the system. They're been trained by the CEO. They've been with the CEO many years, and we can just have him do it for us, right? Which would be John and his team. Okay. So if you find that you want to get to a point where you're kind of pushing on them to take over the transaction coordinator stuff, but some realtors, they just, they've been working with a TC for so long, they don't want to do it. But when you start to kind of lay out things like, hey, I'm looking at the TC checklist. I'm seeing that the wire fraud thing wasn't done. I see that this isn't done. I see that it isn't done. I'm not getting an update about this. They're not reaching out to me about this. When you start pointing out like all the things, like they're going to want to soon make an adjustment because they see that you are understanding the business more than the realtor, more than the TC, and you're able to keep everything in line. You're able to gain that business and charge more money. Everybody understand that? Good? Yes, no, maybe so. You guys can hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. All right. Then you have compliance, and this is just the history of all the stuff that's been done for this client, right? It's keeping a history. It's like keeping a log. All right. So I know that probably seemed like a lot that I just went over. Okay. You would have to keep training on this to understand it. But this piece here is probably the most, I want to say it's the most complex thing. I don't know, John, what do you think? Do you think that this part is probably the most complex part of the CPO job?
Yes, sir. Like moving every leads to each stages. I think it requires like more attention, like
Yeah.
daily, sir.
Yeah, daily. So it's more attention to detail of understanding, because we talked about the monthly bills, we talked about the expense tracker, but when it comes to the pipeline, their clients, and knowing where their clients are, knowing the compliance of each deal, knowing the steps that are still need to be moving these people forward in the process, like this is probably the most complex part. And when you're showing a realtor that you understand this and can get all their clients and prospects in order, that you understand it, this right here, guys, like if you can show this on like a demo call, right? Even if I'm coming to a demo call to help you close something, because I'll help you guys with that. This will be the part that we kind of would focus on a lot, right? The seller pipeline is the same thing. It's just a different process. Okay. Has the same layout. So we're not going to go through the seller side. It's just the buyer pipeline, and everything that we just did is just on the seller side, right? So it also has on the buyer pipeline, it has the same thing, the money, how much the house is being sold for, the commission, if it was a referral that was connected to it. the intake form. If I'm talking to the seller, I will go in here, I would fill out this intake form for the seller. So it's the same thing, right? The roadmap, it tracks where the personnel is where the person is in the stage. The TC checklist is different, right? For on the seller side, the checklist is going to be different. So you have to go through this and kind of understand the seller side as well. It's just a different process, but you know, different contracts that need to be signed on the seller side. Same thing with the reminders, same thing with the notes, same thing with the compliance from the contract being signed. All these things need to be inputted. Okay. To the buyer pipeline. So to summarize this again. Okay. New lead comes in. Okay. You're going to enter these leads in this way, right? New lead comes in. His name is Ray. He's just a prospect. He came in from some referral system that we have, or it came through Lofty, or however, right? And that person is in here. The first thing we want to do is set up property alerts. As property alerts are being sent, we're now watching Lofty. Lofty is going to be one of the CPO tasks, and we'll talk about that here in a second. As these properties are being viewed, you're just kind of watching them. When this lead comes in, guys, the first thing that you want to do with that lead is making sure they have property alerts on, because the CRM that they're using is going to do the heavy lifting. Okay. Property alerts are being sent to them, and then we're just kind of watching activity. All right. Now, if you have 30 leads here and they property alerts and nobody's looking at anything, what do we do? Okay. What do we do when we have a bunch of people looking at a bunch of property alerts going to people and nobody's opened the email, nobody's done anything? That's an opportunity for us to start calling leads or prospects and asking them, logging the call, right? Asking them simple questions like, hey, you know, I've been sending you over some property alerts. And I just want to make sure that they meet your criteria. They might be like, oh, I didn't realize property alerts was being sent to me. And it's like, yeah, just take a look at them and just see if they're in the criteria that you want, if you want me to change anything. And from those calls, hopefully you'll start seeing people view, right? So now you called Ray. Ray wasn't looking at his emails, but now he's viewing properties. So we just watch him. We just watch him from the distance. He looked at 3 homes a day. We could send out another message and say, hey, on those 3 houses, would you like the seller disclosures on those houses? Is there any other details you need? That's it. They respond back, you know, I appreciate that. Can you please send me the seller disclosure? Like, I think that I'm really interested in this one, blah, 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 blah. Ray's doing all this talking. So now we have some conversations with Ray, right? And we're going to talk about the everyday, like you want to have a stand-up meeting with the realtor, because as we're going through like the leads and where they are, right? So now I'm going to wear the hat as the agent. I come in here, I see that we have 10 people in this step. I was like, all right, you guys are working to get these in the property list. They're like, yep, we'll have them done today. All right. We have anybody viewing any properties? Like, we have 4 people viewing properties right now. We've been reaching out to them. Nobody's replied yet. So me as a realtor was like, well, let me give them a call. Let me see if I can get them to respond and have some kind of conversation. And now we're having conversation with these people. They're looking for this person, Ray. We talked to him today. He's wanted some disclosures, so we're going to go ahead and send them over. So me as an agent, I'm like, you're asking for disclosures, huh? Let me call this person to see if I can now make a connection with them, see, you know, what's going on with them, what they're trying to do. I might get on the call with Ray and fill out his intake form, find out that he's ready to buy a home. He actually wants to start seeing some of the properties. I get him to this step here. Representation agreement is signed. All the paperwork is signed. Now I'm out taking them to see properties and all this other stuff. Making sure he has the pre-approval. So you and the agent work as a team with all these prospects that are in these different stages. Okay. Let me see here. Property alerts. So they'll go through. trying to make sure I'm explaining this the best way. Let me jump to you guys and see if I can get an overview from you of really what I'm gonna say this, what the buyer pipeline is for, and how you as so let me ask this question. As a CPO, what is your job when it comes to the buyer pipeline? Anybody want to answer that question besides John? Nobody.
Hello.
Go ahead, Lois.
Okay, so as a CPO, my duty when it concerns the buyer pipeline is to first of all um, document every data, every information that I can get from when a lead comes in, and then make sure I update. I reach out every day, follow up with them, and update the new or next step that concerns each buyer. Where are they each day pertaining the process? Are there appointments that need to be fixed? You know, I need to reach out to them every day and document the new information I get from them. And even if I've not gotten any information, maybe I reached out and they didn't respond, I still need to put down a note about it. And then I also need to update my client about his leads. For example, Ray is my client now. I need to like update him about all his buyer leads, on which or what stage of the process are they on, and if there are any appointments that he has for any of them, I need to put them in his calendar and remind him too. And then I think basically, like in a summary, that's what I need to be doing every day as a CPO when it concerns the buyer pipeline.
Okay, good job. John, I'm gonna let you go ahead and summarize it.
Sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically all of the leads that we put on the buyer pipeline, make sure we are able to reach them out, and then we are doing the best we can to move them to the next stage until closing, or the last stage on this pipeline.
That's a good that's a good summary.
Yes.
That's a good summary. Okay.
Yes.
Good job, Lois, as well. So Lois, I also think that even for yourself, you're very, very close. Like you just gotta, make sure you understand everything when it comes to this, and then understanding that even when it comes to the TC side, you don't necessarily need to know how to fill out contracts. You don't need to know everything about the contract, but eventually, and you want to learn more, you'll learn more about the contracts, and you're able to do that, right? So, Lois, I think that like behind John, like you're probably the second person that will be somebody that's pretty much certified in this to get a client. Okay. Which is a big opportunity for you as well, right? You've been kind of working on my leads and doing all this stuff for a while now, and kind of understanding it. So just make sure that you're looking at this now, that you understand details, and what you don't understand, you have John there also. But yeah, like your job as a CPO when it comes to the buyer seller pipeline is be able to get all the leads in here, right? We don't want to put every lead in here, right? But if they're coming from a referral company, say real estate agents, 55 places, Veterans United, whatever these other platforms, those platforms kind of vetted that lead, right? And that lead came to whatever they're advertising out there to say, hey, I'm interested and I'm a buyer. Those people to us is a good prospect. So I want those people inside this pipeline to see everything that we can do to be able to get them to a point where I can work with them. Okay. And setting up property alerts is the first step, is important because the CRM itself is doing all the heavy lifting. You already have most people that are looking for houses, they want to just see houses. Like they want to see all the beautiful things that are around or whatever. And it's exciting to them. So that's the first thing that we set up. We allow the CRM to keep sending them properties every day. Now we're watching Lofty, and we're looking at the activity, and we see the people that are actually viewing the properties. So those leads that are viewing properties, we're going to move them to that stage. The people that are left here, we'll do a little bit more work. We'll call them, hey, I'm sending properties. Is there anything else? They'll be like, oh, I didn't realize you were sending me stuff. You know, I'll go check it out. Now you see more people looking out. As a CPO, you might come up with a way to approach them that nobody thought of, right? But the fact that we know that we're sending them properties and we're just trying to get them to open them to view them, we can see that on Lofty. Lofty is logging every time somebody opens something, you can see it, right? So for us, that is the first step right here we want to do. Once you reach out, once they're now looking at properties, okay, then you're able to ask questions to them to get them to have some type of verbal conversation, rather through text or through phone call. That's a win for us, because if I ever call as a realtor, I said, hey, you talk to my assistant about some things, and I'm just kind of following up to kind of see if I can step in and help you. Every realtor is going to have their own verbiage, their own style or whatever, but you have made some type of connection either through text or conversation by just following these basic steps. Okay. And our job is to, I would say your job as a CPO for a realtor is to help the realtor to gain some type of access to that client. And that's all we're doing. We're just nurturing leads. We're trying to have some type of conversation, because to get people to reply to a text, to get people to answer a call, like it's really, really hard, right? So out of 100 leads you put in here, you know, we might have 6 conversations. We may have booked an appointment. That booked appointment can turn into a closed deal. For an agent in that month, to have a closed deal is a big thing for them, right? The checks are, you know, 7,000, 5,000, 15,000, whatever. Like they need that stuff to pay their bills, right? So your job as a CPO is just to continue to move these people forward. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move on to here. So we go to the appointments calendar, and this is kind of where this is today, right at 1 o'clock. Okay. If you book an appointment for an agent somehow, right, either through text message, through call, or whatever it is, you're going to put it on their calendar. So here is the appointment calendar, and it's how you kind of keep up with this and keep them organized. This here is the task manager. Okay. So in the task manager, anybody who you added, right, as the CPO, you'll be here, right? So this is the CPO task list. John's going to be going over this. I see that we're already coming up to 11:14. Maybe, John, what we can do is have after lunch to come back and then continue. Since we're like kind of already in this mode right now, is just like we might just keep going till end of day. If you guys have something else you're doing, you can kind of, you know, put this to the side, like stay on the call because I'm recording everything. And then John, make sure you come back to the same link and hit record again. All right. I'll be on the call with that lady at 1 and probably take 15 minutes. I'll jump back on the call. And actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through, since you're gonna be stuck on the CPO task list, I'm gonna try to go through these until, yeah, I should be able to do that in 45 minutes. It's fine. So you notice that it has CPO task lists. This is you as a CPO. Then you have the realtor. They can have their own task list. And these are the people that you added, okay? The people that you added to the team. So if you're just the CPO, you're just going to have your CPO task list, and it will just have you here as a CPO. That's it. Then you have the realtor. But if he have he or she has people on their team that they want to add, the social media person, the, you know, whatever person, you're able to add them here. Okay. See here. So John will go over the CPO task list. This here keeps you in line of everything that you need to do as a CPO. Okay. Every day, right? There's a daily checklist, and it, you know, if you're trying to figure out like, okay, I see Ray showing me the buyer pipeline, but what do I need to do every day to make sure I'm in control of what's going on? I'm keeping everything organized. Like we created this task list here to keep you in line, right? And when you're talking to an agent, or if I'm talking to an agent for you, these are the things that I'm going to go through. These are the selling points, because yeah, all these things are here and it's great, right? But they want to understand on a daily basis, like, what is a CPO actually going to do for you? And this opens their eyes a lot, right? So when you're looking at from a learning standpoint, you just need to learn these tasks. And if you know how to do these tasks, you're good. You're ready to work with a realtor. Of course, like the idea is to always have support for you. So we're always going to use Discord to be able to do that. You run into a problem, like, we're still going to be here to help you out. We're all still working together. I would say probably this core team would be the first ones out to even try to work with an agent. And me spending my time with the public at this point, and kind of the feedback I'm getting in the group chat and all that, I don't know, because I just feel like most of them are going to end up, like I said, here. All right, work for GGC, not really become a CPO. Like, they just want to do this and that's it, right? And that means that, you know, guys, I have unlimited leads when it comes to realtors. So if, you know, I'm constantly reaching out, I have campaigns, I have marketing, and I'm constantly getting agents buying the software. Now they're looking at CPOs, looking for CPOs. Like, this internal group is who I would start pushing them to. The saying that I have a certified CPO you can talk to, you can interview them or whatever. I could be on the call with you. This group's been around me for a long time. So I think that I can definitely sell you guys to a realtor and be able to close that pretty well. Okay. So these tasks here are what you want to focus on to learn. All right. Task history is just task history. It, you know, kind of logs everything that's going on the portal. Team efficiency. Again, this is showing all the hours and everything about your team and what's going on with your team. Time cards. If you do have people in your time card, this is where they're filling out their time card and all that. Okay. Compliance is the overall, as long as inside the buyer pipeline and inside of each card, the TC is logging these things for each one, and that's your job. If you see that you have, let's just say you have 3 people at this stage and forward, you got to be paying attention to what's happening on the TC checklist, making sure it's done, in the compliance. These 2 are very important once they're at that stage, because once they're at that stage, guys, this is when the realtor is really pushing to close that deal to get paid. Okay, long as that you're paying attention to this, when you come to the compliance page, everything should be rolled up for all clients. So it's bringing up upcoming things, right? It's keeping this all organized. All right. Your referrals, like I said before, this is the incoming and outgoing referrals. So I may have some incoming referrals that came from me from another agent, and then these are referrals I sent to someone else. Okay. So if your agent is dealing with referrals, being able to help them to keep this organized is a big deal, because a lot of people will send out business and they forget who they send it out to. Those people can close deals and never pay you, right? So you're helping the agent to kind of keep up with that as well. And this one here, guys, too, is real huge for an agent, because a lot of them could do a lot of referrals. They deal with a lot of income referrals. They forget who they got the referral from. They forget who they send the referral to. So all of this is important as well, okay? Referral partners. So I updated this yesterday. The referral partner situation is important for a realtor as well, because they need to understand if let's say, so I'm now licensed in Delaware and North Carolina. Okay. So if I were to, let's say, get a person that called me and they're from South Carolina and they need an agent, I'm able to go in here in my referral partner list and find them. Okay. Now, all agents, I probably say most agents don't really have a good referral partner database. This is a good selling point for them, because you as a CPO, I will probably, this is another add-on, guys, that you guys can add as a service, that you are constantly finding new referral partners and you're adding referral partners here. Lois, again, you've done this for a long time. I don't remember if Fina did it or not, but adding referrals to my referral database, that's where all this come in play. And that's also a selling point of you becoming somebody's CPO. Some people may look at this whole situation and be like, look, as a CPO, you can do a lot, but all I want you to do is focus on building my referral database, keeping my buyer pipeline straight, making sure that I'm not missing anything on compliance, and everything else I'm gonna take care of. You still got that client, you're still charging them $5 an hour to track all these things. They might say, well, I don't want all that, but then I want some social media. Like, you guys can bargain, you know, these things with them. But when it comes to their referral partner and their database, like, this is going to be so important. Like, I haven't even, like, Lois and John, I need you guys to update this when we get a chance. We have the spreadsheets, we have all the stuff, so just importing them here. We're going to be in the thousands when it comes to my referral partners, and then having those tasks to keep adding those referral partners is important. There's another add-on service that you can do, is that reaching out to referral partners to let them know that your realtor is out here, right? We talk to people every day. I will forget that I have that connection to somebody in South Carolina. I'll get somebody from South Carolina, a buyer, right? And then forget about the dude that I talked to in South Carolina, and vice versa. He might forget he talked to me. So having a way that we have some type of campaign where we're reaching out to the referral partners is another add-on service that you can do. That's just added value. We now have new construction. So keeping up with new construction and knowing who your builders are in your city, knowing who the communities are. Like, guys, this here could be something that somebody signed up for and this is all they want you to do. Okay. Understanding the new construction, having all the, like, taking the time to figure out who the salespeople are. When it comes to new construction, a lot of times we're having where it's hard to get to the salespeople. Like, they have this buffer block where it's hard to get the salespeople. So if we do the legwork to be able to get the salespeople information for, like, all the new construction builders, that is a huge, it's a big money opportunity when it comes to that. And I think that Lois and John probably can also attest to that. Like, understanding that information is huge. It's hard to keep it organized. So this is one step of trying to organize a new construction. Let me see if I did. Right, we have the logo, their website, their name, the main contact phone number, email, notes. I think that I also put in here, if I haven't, I'll add it, if they're a regular community, like new construction, or they're 55 plus, right? So 55 plus, once I get to North Carolina, is probably something I'm going to focus on right away, because we're able to turn 55 plus leads back on. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. So I want to make sure the new construction is able to separate the two builders. So new construction database upkeep is a huge thing for realtors. Most realtors don't even go into new construction because it's too complex to them and they don't understand it. And it seems like a lot of work. It is a lot of work unless you understand the ins and outs of it. Okay. Then you have the reminders page. These are like all the reminders that you put in until you check them off, guys, they stay. So this is like building a to-do list of things for clients, for the realtor. The realtor may put a reminder in here and all that. Okay. I have this in here for finding a portal operator. So as people are getting certified, let's just say if you guys made your account and I locked you in a being certified, your profile is going to be here where that any realtor that has this software. So let me back up. The realtors purchase the software, right? They understand that what it can do. Some people are money conscious and be like, you know what, a CPO sounds great, but I can do all this by myself. I'll keep it updated and great that is there to keep my business organized. And let's say they try, it's just too much to keep up with. They can come here and find a portal operator, right? So as I start to kind of turn on people profiles and say this person is certified, I trust in the fact that they can, they have what they need. They're equipped with enough information to get started. Because in the background, guys, we still have to be there to help you, right? Maybe for John, like if John did it, maybe he wouldn't come to me and say he need help, but I'm pretty sure he probably will come to me and still need help. Same thing with Lois. Lois would need help. So that's what I'll be in the background for, to make sure I'm able to help you. But that's what this is for. Me as a realtor looking at this, I bought it. I didn't want a CPO. I didn't want to hear nothing about a CPO to have more cost. But now I'm seeing that this is a lot. If I can get a CPO to help me organize it, help me scale, keep my things organized, because I'm not doing a good job of organizing myself. And most realtors, I would say 98% of realtors, if they're using this and hitting every aspect of what this thing is helping you do, there's no way in hell they can do this by themselves. They just can't. They can't be out there showing houses, doing that, come home, update all this stuff. I mean, we might find somebody, if they doing it by themselves, they're only doing certain things. They're only keeping up with their buyer pipeline and maybe their compliance, and that's it. All the rest of the stuff, they're not going to be able to keep up with it. It's just not going to happen. Then you have what we call the agent vote. Okay. In the agent vote, a lot of times agents, we have our brokers information, our license information, our association's information, our NERS numbers, our documents when it comes to our W-9, our driver license, because these things that we need when we're doing certain things on the deal, or if we're signing up for a new platform for referrals, like all this information, like it's hard to keep up with. And when you need it, like you're digging in on your website for something, like you're doing all this stuff trying to keep up with all of it, and it's just hard to do. So the agent vote is to keep up with all their information. Their brand assets are in here, all their documents in here, and any information about them and their brokerages in here as well. Okay. Email templates is something that I've been working on. This is just like when you're submitting an offer. All right. The offer was accepted. Like we have like these emails that we kind of put together, and we can add more as time goes on. But that's all this is just all these things right here is really to help probably the transaction coordinator. The transaction coordinator, if they're an American and been doing it for a while, they already have these things. But it also gives the agent, because some agents are their own transaction coordinator, right? If John's not available, I would step in and do all the TC stuff. So if I had this available, like I can use this to help me as well as like a shortcut. Okay. Then you have the portal train. Sorry.
This is a guided tour of your agent portal. I'll walk you through every section.
All right. So I created this this portal training thing that they can do. That's what this is. So it's just kind of taking you through the dashboard, the monthly, all these things that we just talked about. Okay. And it's going through everything. So it's a portal training. The agreement is the agreement they sign when they actually sign up for the portal itself. Here is installing the app. So you can install the app on your phone, and you can install the app on your computer. What I'm working on next is now having the app itself inside of Google Play and inside of Apple Store, right? So have an official app on those two platforms is what I'm working on next. And if that's the case, then we just need to send them to Google Play if they have an Android, or we'll send them to the iOS Play Store or the Apple Play Store if they have an Apple phone. This here is for the computer itself, right? So this is going to stay the same where they download the software. So you can see here, I have the thing for the software itself. So this is an actual desktop software that you can download. Right now, we're just using the browser portion of it. Okay. Then you have the billing, of course, whatever they chose, the My Team, right? We talked about that earlier. And then as a agent, if I know other agents that would want this portal as well, I can send them my resale link. If they purchase, then the person gets 50% of the first month. So I'm charging $100 a month for the platform. So if you were to send this link to someone, you're going to make $50 on that sale. So as an agent or as a CPO, like you have your one client, you have the ability to have conversation with other agents just to sell them the software. You can do that as well. So that's what that's for. Here's a submit a ticket. You know, the ticket is basically need to hire help, file a complaint, positive feedback about the portal. Like they're able to put that in here, and we have a ticket system that I'll get an email of anything that comes through. If somebody say, hey, I clicked on this and it's not working correctly, they're able to submit that ticket. I can go in, fix that stuff pretty fast. Okay. Settings, you know, it just has this information about the agent profile. This right here, you can turn as the portal operator, not the portal operator, as the realtor, you can turn these things on what you want your team to see or not see. And then down here, my pipeline. So you can see that here we had buyer, seller pipeline, right? If I want to create another pipeline for something else, I can create another pipeline. So it would just pop up here under this pipeline. Let's say I wanted a pipeline for, I don't even know what it would be for. Let's say vendors, right? So we're talking like contractors and stuff like that. I can create a pipeline for them so I can kind of keep up with people I have in that pipeline and people I need to talk to and all this other stuff. So you can build your own pipeline. And then here, my apps, what this is for, let's just say you're working with an agent and this is going to happen. Even though you have the portal here, okay, you're still going to have to, when you go to the CPO task list, task manager, CPO task list, there's things in here where you're using another platform. So Lofty is one of them, okay? So what I did here on the My Apps, you can put a shortcut in here to open up these different platforms. Like I use ChatGPT, whatever your shortcut things are, you can put them all here, okay? And then that way you can just click on them and go to them like this, all right? Just shortcut to keep yourself organized. So if the agents say, hey, I use Lofty, I use referralagents.com, and I use Canva, right? You can set up your Canva here. If they use HeyGen, you can set up HeyGen here. Like all the different things that you're using for that client, you keep it all organized right here, okay? The difference between the browser, right, is that when you click it, it's going to open them up inside of this, which is fine, right? You still have it organized on how you want it. So, you know, that's fine. But the software is this desktop version of it. What it's going to do is that it's going to open up these tabs here and it's not touching your browser, if that makes sense. So all of the things that you have open that the agent used, it would just stay here, right? Because sometimes your browser, you're done with work, you close this out or you leave it up or you restart your computer and it deletes it and all that. The desktop software actually allows you to put these pin tabs up here. There's also a version of it, I'm still working on it, that it opens inside. So you see how this one opened in here? It opened in here and it didn't go here. So there's a thing called what is it called? iframe. iframe blocks a lot of in-app browsers. So this is a web app. So it stops you from putting things inside of here. It blocks it. But when you build a desktop software, they can't block it because it's not on a browser anymore, right? So I think for the most part, this still will be helpful for people to have these quick links that they can open up. So just in case all these things closed out, you can go here, open them back up, okay? And is there anything else? That's everything, guys, here, okay? Again, we did make sure that we recorded this, and then John, I will probably say after break, or unless you want to pick up now, you can pick up now. You guys are okay with going, like doing your break in like 12:15 instead and let him get through some of the task list? Or do you want to just pick up after, come back at 1, John? Because at this point, it's kind of turning over to you as from the CPO checklist, right? As a task manager, right? You guys understand everything that, or you got an overview. I'm not gonna say you 100% understand it, but you got an overview of everything here that's in the menu, okay? And then we're going to the actual task list of doing the work. So John is going to be kind of sharing screen, kind of going through all of these steps and what he does. So John's been doing this for a couple of weeks for me now. He has an understanding of everything that needs to be done on a daily basis. Me and him made an adjustment of some of the things that were on here. Is this the new updated one, John, or is this still not showing the updated one? It's the updated one, right?
Yes, sir. The updated one, sir.
Okay, good. So he has a certain way that he organized things, because before when I had a task list, it didn't flow right. So we did that yesterday. So the way that he set up his day and everything that he's doing, he's just going to kind of go through all those things. Okay. So John, what do you want to do from here?
Maybe it's fine now, sir. If
What'd you say, John? I can't hear you.
yeah, it's fine right now, sir. If I could explain some of the tasks.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop presenting and then I'm going to let you present, John.
Okay, sir. Mm, okay. Is it showing now, sir?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So all of these tabs, it has already been explained. So I'll go through with like the list or the CPO task list. So basically this is like all of the things or all of the tasks that we will be doing daily for the realtor or the client that we will be having. So daily, the first thing that I need to do once you are going to log in or to start your day was to generate this task list. So there's a button here that says regenerate today. So before we start as a CPO, before we start with doing all of our tasks, we need to click on this one to give us like a fresh list of all the tasks in here. So that's daily. And then the first task in here that we could see is like review the daily reminders, portal notifications and timeline taskboard. So basically, all we the first thing we need to do in the morning once we generated all of the tasks is to go on the reminders tab. So Sir Ray already explained in here that these are all the reminders that reminders for the clients and also for ourselves. So we have to review all of these reminders in here. And then if there's like any reminders that we could like execute or do it now, then we will be like doing the task already. So for example, we have tasks in here that is due. Need to make updates to Brooklyn website. So these tasks are like overdue and for this is for survey. What I usually do, I put this one on the notepad. So I'm just basically collecting all of the informations now so that I could present it later for a report to my to survey or to the client. And then, for example, I have this one to call the lead to ask for additional criteria for the home search. This one I could like do it if I'm going to review all of the reminders in the morning. There are some tasks that I could do it right away, and then if I could see a reminder that I could do it right away, then I'll execute it, and then I'll just check it that it's done. And then all of these tasks, all reminders for if you're not sure that you could do the reminder yourself, and then it is best to collect or take note of all of those reminders for now, and then ask Surrey later for any clarifications on those or those reminders are for him. And then we have this task also that is due on the next day, so just need to take note of them. And then all reminders, upcoming reminders. So um this is the first thing that we need to do as a CPO. Just make sure we just to make sure that we make notes of all the those important reminders, and if there are some reminders that can be completed immediately, then we execute those reminders, and then just take note of those upcoming reminders. So that's yeah, that's on the reminder part or the first task as a CPO. And then in here we have like check compliance and transaction platforms for deadline, missing documents, unsigned forms, or urgent issues. So for this one, I'll just review each active transactions and check for any upcoming deadlines. So if you will be going to the pipelines again, so I'll start with the buyer pipeline, and then all of the leads that is on this stage on the representation agreement, and then everything on the right side, these are considered as like active leads or active transactions. So um let me just duplicate this. Okay, so all we need to do here is we have to make sure that every transactions that every leads that is on this stage, we are properly taking care of them. So there will be like platforms that we will be like made familiar with as a transaction. Okay, that's for transaction coordinator. So let me check again here as explained by Sir Ray. We have like the compliance page. So we have to make sure that we are on track with all of the dates that is in here. So for example, we have the due for the seller response to repair due. That for instance this is today. And then we have to make note, we have to take note of this one and then discuss it with survey later for next step. Then I also have to make sure that all of the transactions here are compliant. So we have like so for me as a transaction coordinator, also for Siri, I make sure that all of the transactions on the other platforms that we have, like for example, that loop. Can I open that loop, sir, for you?
Um, let's not open that.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So guys, on this step here, when it comes to dot loop, well, all right, so we're on the second one, right? So check compliance and transaction platforms for deadlines, missing documents, unsigned forms, and urgent issues. If you're the CPO and you're not the TC, the CPO will have access to the I guess the CPO would also have access to dot loop, but it's gonna depend on the agent. But if we're just kind of saying the CPO job is to make sure the transaction coordinator is doing their job, this here, I think that should just be a check. And the only thing that you can check from a CPO standpoint is the actual
The
compliance date on the actual lead. So just go
Yes,
back
sir.
to the lead, right? And then if you're looking at the compliance, right? So on this one, there's no dates on the compliance. So this is you reaching back out to the TC. It's just like, hey, the compliance dates, nothing in here was put in there. Which transaction is this, John?
This is yours, sir. I think it's
Supplier.
the example, sir.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the only thing that you really can do on this step here from, you might have the realtor say, hey, I think that I want you to do more as far as like have access to my dot loop, have access to my it would be the dot loop, right? Because you're gonna have access to Lofty. So we'll show
Yes.
Lofty. From the dot loop side, I would say, do you think there's anything from a CPO standpoint that they actually could just look at and say that, hey, this is not done versus knowing the contract?
Yeah, on the TC checklist, sir.
Okay, so if they had access to dot loop, okay, and they were checking that step, right? Just checking for compliance stuff. One, we're checking the TC checklist on here. You're checking also the compliance tab on here. So you can see here, like on this one, there's a red flag, right? Nothing's been checked
Yes,
off
sir.
on it, right? And then go to compliance, John, on this one too. And nothing was done on compliance. So this was something that you would flag with the agent. It's like, hey, this stuff is empty. I need to talk to the TC to see if I can get an update on this. Or again, this is one of those openings where you're so on top of things and it shows that the TC is not, right? It's your opportunity to pull that transaction coordinator work from the TC that they currently have. And now you have John and his company to kind of come in and help this. So you'll just add John as the user on the my team for the TC side. And now you have an internal dialogue with John. Like being able to call an American TC and them actually spend time with you on the phone, it's probably gonna be real difficult to do. I'm not gonna lie to you. Would you agree with that, John?
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be hard. But since we're all internal and we all know how to communicate, we have our platform to communicate, things happen in real time, things are updated quickly. And this would be for me a selling point when I'm talking to an agent as well. Again, if you guys are prospecting and you got an agent that's interested in the portal and you need me to come in a call, I will come in and close it for you. All right. So go ahead, John, keep going. So as a CPO, just keep it basic here, right? Inside the compliance and the TC checklist inside the card for that person. That's what you're gonna do. Let's just keep it to that, John. Not going
Okay,
to
sir.
dot loop at this point.
Yes, sir. And then,
So go back to your task manager.
oh
I
yeah,
think there you go.
yes, sir. So the third task here is to set up buyer tours when requested or when leads are ready. So for this one, of course, we have to confirm that the buyer is already ready for a tour, or that the realtor has already requested a showing. So for this one, we communicate with the lead, and we communicate with the realtor and review their preferred date, time, and the list of properties to be visited. So this one, usually we would be setting up showings on our clients or realtors showing time if they permits us to. We verify that each property is still active and they are available for showings. Then everything looks good. And then yeah, we use showing time. There are like a lot of platforms also for the realtors that they use. Mostly they use showing time to request or like schedule the appointments according to the preferred schedule. So once the appointments are already confirmed, and then we will organize the tours for the buyers. So for example, they send us like a list of all the addresses that they want to see, and then it is up to us, or no, it's not up to us, but we will ask confirmations for survey. How are we going to put all of those to our clients, sorry, how we will put all of the addresses that they want to show in order. So we set up uh like a report for all of those addresses. Like we set up a table, uh a table, a table or a tour for them.
So
And
John,
then
I'm gonna
oh
step in
yeah,
on this
sorry.
one because it's probably that's one here. Even looking at it, is a little complex when it comes to setting up tours. So I would just basically say this, like, you know, if they're at a point and they're setting up tours for an agent, they need to come get help for the first couple ones they do. Because there is a lot of details into setting up tours for a realtor. But um this step here is the setting up tours when requested. So just making sure you're kind of going over this one with the agent. Hey, do you have any tours that need to be set up coming up that I need to know about? And if you're setting up tours on this step, of course, you know, you go to complete, add the time it took you to do that, you know, and you're setting that one up. Um, I was thinking to myself just now, is this maybe a task for TC, but TC don't set up tours at all. All right. So this would be most agents set up their own tours. So if a CPO is able to help them with that, they're definitely going to want you to help them with that as far as a service. Okay. But you'll
Yes.
be going into the MLS, um, clicking on the properties. If there's 5 properties that need to be seen, you got to understand that the realtor is driving in the route, right? So you have to understand how to route those things that they're in order. You don't want somebody to go all the way south, to go all the way north, to come back south. Like, you want them to be in order. The software also, you know, it makes it easy for you to do that, but you just got to know how to do that. So that's what that one's going to be.
Yes, sir.
I'll probably put a pin in that one, John, to be able to come back to that one. And you go to the MLS, and set up a showing and how it works. Just move to the next task.
Yeah. This one, review the compliance page for items due within the next 7 days. So we have the compliance tab here. So basically what we need to do is flag our clients or tell our clients uh what are the dates or what are the compliance that is due on 7 days. Right now we don't have any. We have here we don't have any, but for instance, we have these two, like the closing and possession, and then we will notify our clients that hey, the closing and the possession, the closing or the walkthrough for this lead is upcoming in 7 days. So
Hey,
usually,
Mark that one clear, Lisa Du Bois.
It's the representation, sir. Expiration.
Yeah, just mark it clear. We already closed on her.
Okay, sir.
Same thing with Sandra. We don't work with her anymore.
It says failed to mark cleared, sir.
Okay. All right. All right. Keep going, John.
Okay. Yeah, so that's it. We could like send a screenshot to our clients and let them know that we have the upcoming dues, upcoming dues for all of their transactions. And then the next one, okay, this one I think it's for the transaction coordinator. Send documents needed for active transactions and make sure the transaction coordinator has everything needed. So um, if the if we have any documents that we need to upload on all of the active transactions, then we have to make sure that the transaction coordinator has everything. So if we're going to look at this one again, and we will be going to the TC checklist. So make sure that all of these documents, so we have here like a checklist of all of the documents. Like for example, for pre-contracts, we have the buyer agency agreement, the wire fraud. So if it's not checked, then we have to make sure, or we have to reach out to the transaction coordinator if these are already cleared out. And then once we have like the confirmations that it's already uploaded or it's already on the file, and then we could like check them out. So we have like here for the pre-contract and also documents for under contract. So that's for send documents, and then again review the TC task list for each active clients. Same thing, again the TC checklist. So aside from the documents, there are also like tasks in here that we need to make sure they are already done. So for example, on under contract, we received the fully executed contract. Basically, all of this is for the transaction coordinator. We have to make sure all of these tasks in here, all of the task lists in here are all done up to the closing. And then we have review under contract files and move each transactions forward. So again, on the pipeline in here, that would be like on the pipeline. So as explained, all of the transactions under representation agreements, all of these are representation agreements up to the right. All of these are active transactions. So daily, what we need to do is make sure that all of these active transactions in here are moving to each to the next stage. Like for example, the pre-approval, we have the pre-approval already, and then we move them to the next stage to schedule tours. So that's for like reviewing. I'm sorry, that's under contract. Sorry, that's on the seventh stage, offer accepted. And we have to make sure that all of the contingencies are all cleared. The next step to the right, we have the EMD deposit, the home inspection, mortgage commitment. So that's review under contract files. Check closing week clients. So this is basically also on the on the compliance state or on the compliance tab. We have to make sure that um, we have to check all of the transactions or all of the clients that will be closing on 7 days, and make sure we inform our client and also the transaction coordinator about it. And then check emails and organize um, important important messages. So if the clients permits us to like view their emails, then we could like organize their emails also. We could set up like labels. We put labels on each emails, and then if there are any important emails that requires the our client's attention, then we send them a message or we send a screenshot to them and then they will like tell us what to do with that. And same thing with text messages and replies when appropriate. So same thing with emails. If they would be like permits us also to see like their how do you call this, their platforms for checking text messages. Then if we see anything that requires their attention, then we send it to them. And then if it's like if there's like leads or that they permits us to reply, and then we reply to them, or any like inquiries also. And then we have this review internal brokerage and external referral platform. So basically these ones are other platforms that the clients have for us to monitor all of the incoming leads for them. And then once we have those incoming leads, then we update these platforms and also add those leads in here on either buyer and the seller pipeline. So internal brokerage, you have this one for every broker. It's different for every broker. And then external referral platforms, you have like the 55 places, the realestateagent.com. And then the next task is basically to send the realtor a daily summary and confirm all appointments, calls, tours, showings, deadlines, and important items for the day. So if we would be doing all of these tasks, like for this first task up to the 12 tasks, and then we will create like a summary of all those tasks and generate a report that we will be sending it to our client. Like every time, like everything from new leads, what are the appointments, what are missings on each transactions. And then we have the meet with the realtors to review buyer pipeline, seller pipeline, active client cards. So basically this task is the time that we will be like having a meeting with our clients. We are going through with our buyers and sellers pipeline, and then we are explaining to them what are the things that we still need to do in order to move each of the active clients to the next stage. So it's a meeting with the it's the meeting with the realtor and you as a CPO. And then we have review CRM, AI chats. So for this one, we are just reviewing the CRM for any lead activities, like if they view the property, if they we saw a lead that view the property, then we have to take note of that. And we also have to make sure we move the leads in here, or we add or move the leads to the proper pipeline. So for example, we saw a lead that are actively viewing properties, then we move the lead into this pipeline. And then also I think this one, the AI chat, this was actually for Lofty. So there is like an AI assistant that is reaching out to the leads. We have to monitor each conversations that the AI chats create with all of these leads. And then if we saw or we noticed that it's the lead is actively conversing with the AI assistants, and that is the time that we step in and talk to the leads about their needs. And then you have follow up daily with all leads before the representation agreement stage. So that's so everything from the left. So representation agreement to the left, all of these leads are as Survey said, is all of them are prospects. So we have to make sure that every day we are reaching out to them. We are reaching out to them until we could move them to the representation agreement stage. And then review active client cards and determine next step. Again, that's on the pipeline. We have to like review all of the leads in here, make sure we move them to the next stage. For this one, monitor incoming leads from social media ads and external referral platforms and add new leads to GGC agent portal. So it's the same thing. Like we have also the internal and external platforms, and there are also way that we could get leads from social media ads and social media ads. Okay, external referral platforms. So once we have those leads, or once we receive those leads, we have to make sure that we add them on our pipeline, and that's when the time we work with those leads to move them to the next stage. And then we have this one complete 1 to 3 past client tasks. Confirm past clients are in the post closing pipeline. So in here we have like a pipeline also here, like once we already close with a transaction, and then we move them on this stage. So these are like post closing pipelines. We have the anniversary campaign. We have to make sure that we set up the anniversary campaigns for all of those leads, and then once we set them up, then we move them to the next stage. So all of these that are highlight or on violet, they are all post client pipelines. Next is we have post or confirm all approved social media contents posted for the day. So the CPO is responsible for ensuring it is completed, whether posted directly or by the SMM. So for this one, as a CPO, you have to make sure that um, um, the social media the social media platforms of our clients are still active. So if they have like approved social media contents, we have to make sure they get we post them, or either we post them or they get posted by the social media manager. And then complete daily engagement on the realtor's social profiles by liking or commenting on 20 plus relevant posts from clients. So this one is just like we are establishing connections from our clients to all of our social media platforms. So if we see like a post from a realtor, then we could engage with them by liking or commenting on their post. Same thing with this. Like join and engage daily in targeted groups that match the realtor's niche, location, and ideal clients to build exposure and relationships. So this is also like for social media, for all of our clients' social media platforms. We have to make sure that they could establish a strong relationship with other um people with the same niche or with the same location, and then build referral partner list daily by finding realtors in brokerage platforms. So for this one, we're establishing like a strong relationship with our clients with other realtors as a referral partner. And then quarterly referral partner check-in. Send 20 check-in emails per day to referral partners once per quarter. So as for their market is doing. So keep for this one is just keeping in touch with all of the referral partners that we have established. And then check Google Business Profile. Make sure we optimize the Google Business Profile of our clients, and that is updated so that when we search it online, it will show like a strong information or strong bio for our client. And then we have the last one is to send the realtors a structured end of day report. And on Fridays, prepare a weekly recap with leads added, appointment set. So the last task is like a summary of all the tasks that you have done for the client. So the summary of all of this is all of these tasks. And then on Fridays, the summary of all of the tasks that you have done for the week. Yeah, I think that's all, sir.
Okay. At this point, does anybody have any questions? Before we let you guys go?